Prošle nedelje imali ste priliku da upoznate Nikolasa Motisa, profesora na jednom od najprestižnijih evropskih univerziteta, École Polytechnique u Parizu. Mogli ste da čujete njegovo razmišljanje o tome kako svi zajedno treba da budemo srećni što živimo u Evropi, kao i da treba da imamo mnogo više vere i samopoštovanja prema toj činjenici. Ali ove nedelje upoznaćete i drugu stranu profesora Motisa. Osim što svoje znanje prenosi mlađim generacijama, profesor Motis je i predsednik Upravnog odbora jedne od najvećih humanitarnih organizacija na svetu, Lekari bez granica. Pa će nam otkriti kako ta organizacija funkcioniše. Još mnogo zanimljivih tema očekuje nas u drugom delu razgovora sa profesorom Motisom. Zato da krenemo.
I would like to go to the next topic, which is I'm amazed of in your work, and this is that you are also president of the Medicine Sans Frontières Foundation, or Doctors Without Borders, yeah. And you are really doing something which I think is again showing like environment and innovation and let's say people's lives, health and survival can be played on the ground from the research level and the research laboratories to the clinics in Mali or Yemen or something like that. These projects are really great. What did lead the humanitarian tech portfolio, let's say portfolio tech? What do you think about what is missing still there? If you see how we are proceeding with innovation and bringing this innovation to the places where it's mostly needed, what is also your idea as a foundation?
So maybe first, when I was saying that we have to be confident about Europe, one of my sources of beliefs or thought is typically the feedbacks we get from the mission heads of Médecins Sans Frontières. From all over the world, we get regularly feedbacks, and the vision of the world they give us is a bit scary. So, and then you compare what they describe on what's happening in RDC, in Haiti, in Sudan, in Gaza, and you see where we are in Europe, saying, but why do we complain? I mean, we have so many things to do, we should stop complaining. So that's maybe to explain also one of my sources of information. So what is missing in the humanitarian world? The list is too long, so I couldn't reply easily. What we try to do at the foundation Doctors Without Borders, we have two activities. One is the think tank of the movement. Doctors Without Borders is a huge movement. It's one of the biggest NGOs in the world. And it's organized through operational centers, and it has some satellites to support the operation. So the foundation is one of these satellites. And we have two activities. One is to run a think tank, which is producing lots of reports, articles, podcasts. I invite you to go and have a look at the site of the think tank called CRASH, Centre de Réflexion, so les actions humanitaires. And we also have a portfolio of innovation. And these innovations are launched based on the analysis of the needs of the operations. So we discuss a lot with the operations from all over the world, and they tell us, here we have a problem which is not covered by existing solution. Could you develop a new technology for that? And so what we do first is we look at what's existing everywhere. If there is already a solution somewhere on the shelf, we take it and we adapt it and we help them to deploy it. If there's no solution, we have the resources to create our own development teams, and we develop the solution, and once it has been developed and tested with our operations, we give it for free to all the NGOs which need it. So we did it for many applications, for a rapid diagnostic.
Which I think is crucial. We're talking about intellectual property, we're talking about giving people actually that's what they need.
And what is absolutely key in our model is that we are only funded by individual donors. We get zero funding from governments.
Or pharma companies.
Pharma companies it's forbidden, defense companies it's forbidden, some sectors are totally forbidden. We have very limited, but it's maybe 1% or 2% of corporate fundings, but all our funding is coming from individual donors, which is absolutely key, especially if you keep in mind what's happened since January with all the budget cuts in the US on US aid and other programs. And on many operations, we are collaborating with other NGOs, which had to close their operations almost like this. MSF, we didn't have this pressure. So it's an amazing strength that we have through our donors, our individual donors. So thanks to this independence is one of our key words.
We are silent for
and we can go through crisis, and we can, just to give you an example, we also work on oncology for women in Africa, just to mention you a project. Oncology for women, for the current US government, is totally absurd. I mean, why would you develop solutions against cancer of women? So they stopped the funding. So we had a fantastic team of people in the US who were almost fired overnight. So, and we are cooperating with them in some African countries to develop some new solutions based on AI to improve the diagnosis of cancer. So then the point is, do we stop the project? Do we kill the project with all the efforts which have been made so far, or do we use our independence to support the team and continue the project? And so we had some discussions, and that's what we've done.
Which shows what I told you, that is the perfect bridge, and I think the only bridge that we have today between high-end research and really needed, like clinics in Yemen or Sudan or whatever, the places on the earth where it's not really going well, and they cannot afford the high-end.
Yeah, and we don't make any compromise on the technical quality of our solutions. It's not because we worked in developing countries that we take shitty solutions, if I can put it like this. We take the best of the crowd solutions, and then we just adapt them to contexts which are more difficult in some cases. For example, energy supply. If you have to transport vaccines in very remote areas, energy supply can be an issue. So you have to think about some technologies to preserve the quality of the drugs or the device. So we have some specific constraints due to the humanitarian context, and we try and find solutions that meet the needs of our operations. So it's a long process. Some innovations take 5 to 6 years, some 2 to 3 years, but it's a typical innovation process with lots of effort. Sometimes we fail, sometimes it's worse.
It would be not possible without this kind of overbridging and this kind of agency to put it.
Exactly, and to make a link with what you learn in the program, as MSF has a very strong image and reputation, and we tend to be very strict on our governance, on what we do. In many cases, we can crystallize existing bricks of solution to produce an answer. So we do not necessarily try and do everything by ourselves. If we identify some bricks that can be assembled in our innovation processes, we do it. But with very strict rules on who are the partners, who do we cooperate with, for which purpose, etc., etc. But we have this capacity to assemble.
I wanted to go and to share with our audience also this part of your activity, because I find it really amazing. But let's go to something else where we are now. You actually founded the international program, master program of École Polytechnique. How the idea came, and you know, this is one of the rare projects in the educational world where you detach, or where the tech meets, let's say, the business leaders. I couldn't find. I mean, okay, that's why I'm here, because and because you accepted me. But basically, even if you want to do it, somewhere else, it's very rare to find. How did the idea came to?
The idea came from different sources. I've done for many years accreditations of universities everywhere in the world, in the US, in Asia, in Africa. So I've analyzed quite precisely what other universities are doing everywhere. And I was on the board of the international accreditation system of universities, so I had a good understanding of what were the existing offers. So that was one point. That led me to the conclusion that creating another MBA would be a nonsense. I mean, there are already too many MBAs, so that's not the point. The need is not here. That's the first point. Second point, I'm strongly convinced that we have to make more efforts to bridge the link between scientists and society. And there are many ways to do it. And one way to do it is to connect more efficiently people who can create new companies, new organizations, be they public or private. We have many people from the public sector or from the army or from the... And we have to connect them more precisely. So that was the second.
To try to bring us rocket science
exactly.
in hours and hours. Yeah. So I know that. Yeah. I know.
So that was for the first two arguments. That was quite easy to convince people that we could do it. The third assumption, that was a strong belief. Most people told me it's impossible to ask mathematicians to talk to people who haven't done a master's degree in mathematics.
And this is something which I find amazing that it works.
Yeah. And personally, I'm convinced that it's possible to take the best experts in mathematics, in biology, in computer science, and ask him to explain clearly, in simple words, what are the challenges of his field, what you can expect from AI, from IoT, and that was maybe the toughest challenge when we launched the program, because I had, just to give you an example, on AI, for example, I went and talked to a colleague who is a very senior researcher. He's a member of the Academy of Science. I asked him, Eric, you have to do a module on AI. You have 2 days to do that. He replied, impossible. Ciao, see you next week. Okay. Eric, think about it. We take another coffee in 1 week and we'll discuss about it again. And we talked about other things. The week later, we met again at the cafeteria, and I asked him, so did you think about my proposal? He said, maybe I could do it, but you told me they know nothing about AI. But they are engineers. I mean, some of them are engineers, but not all of them.
Not really.
Marco, I don't know if you're no. So you will have people who know mathematics and people who know nothing. Then he told me, okay, maybe in 5 days I could do it. I said, good, but you have 2 days. And so we had a coffee another time. So I don't want to be too long, but on average it took me 4 iterations to convince my colleague that it's possible to make it synthetic and clear. And in fact, the first year, so many researchers who teach in the program had never done any executive education before. And now they do it quite well, I think.
Very good.
You have to tell us.
And this is actually an amazing thing that it's really, this is now speaking from the side of the researchers to us. So that was very hard also to develop this kind of, and to convince them and to develop the program. But also, let's go on the other side, us coming from the C-levels executives or whatever. What you are also asking from us is to be really multidisciplinary, to look broader as we can. What is actually in your mind, what is the difference between the people who are now, managers and people who will lead the transformations in the future? So it is this kind
I think if you want to lead the transformation, you have to be curious first. And that's one of the key characteristics we define when we finalize the profile of the participants we will recruit. You have to be curious. And why do you have to be curious? Because if you think about change and innovation, it's never totally vertical. Innovation today, it's a kind of Lego game. You know, the Lego, the small bricks. To produce a real innovation, you have to assemble bricks coming from data management, AI, IoT, biology. There are no more innovations that would only rely upon one technology or one science. And combining this large range of science technologies, it's not easy. But it's very exciting. I hope it's what you feel when you hear an expert of biomedical engineering talking about the fantastic devices he's putting everywhere in your body to do all kinds of amazing things. It's very stimulating. It gives you lots of ideas. And so it also has a side effect. That's something we have observed since the program was created, is that these kind of interactions with senior researchers and people who know very little about their research is very exciting for both the participants because they learn a lot, but also for the researchers.
Many colleagues, like two different universes.
Exactly. And many colleagues, after the first year or first 2 years of the program, when I was seeing them, they were always telling me the same story. I like your program. Your participants are always putting a total mess in my course because they keep asking lots of questions. Yeah, but it's great. It's very stimulating for me to teach in this kind of program.
And on the other side, we can track our change, how we approach the topics. It's totally different than before we started. It's totally different.
I hope,
that is why the program works. But that's for the end. I always like this part of the talk show, like the short prompts from you, and knowing what you have done in your life. What is the belief you changed your mind about in the last 5 years?
The belief I changed my mind about, not on innovation or in general? In general. I would say I fear it would be a geopolitical belief. I thought, maybe if I can put it simply, I thought that humanity was able to learn from history. And I start to have doubts about it. I'm not sure that as humans we really...
Don't go there.
Yeah, but I think it's a fact today when you see what's happening in many parts of the world, you really wonder, but did these guys read a history book? I mean, just read a history book.
Just read it, yeah.
And I would like, so I thought leaders had done it before. When I see what's happening, I really wonder if they did it. Yeah.
That's why these programs are important. What is the habit to keep you intellectually honest?
Oh, the interactions with students, PhDs and participants, I mean, if you...
Doing these talk shows.
The question of Marco.
The question of Marco.
No. When you do research or when you are in the academic environment, you are always challenged and questioned. So if you say stupid things, usually there's always someone in the room saying, no, this thing is totally stupid. So
and then I'm also amazed how you interact, and always with the very, like you hear something for the first time, you're always challenging. It's really.
And if I don't know, I say I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have problem to say I ignore.
And for the end, one book you lend to students who think finance can change the real economy.
A book, finance can change.
Okay.
yeah, indeed. We wrote a collective book on sustainable finance. So I've tried, it doesn't work.
Which is really changing the real economy.
No, what I would do is share cases.
Yeah.
You know, there are cases on precise examples of companies, organizations which have changed the practices and which have succeeded. I think cases to convince people, it's much more convincing for most people. Huh? Some people need theoretical concepts and frameworks, but for most people, examples I think are extremely powerful.
And also
good examples.
What we have taught to be able to understand what are the happy people on the billboards and lobbying groups, and what is real thing, what is the real innovation. Yeah. One question which is having to deal with, let's say, the educational framework we are living in. So the education is changing, and the kind of how we educate, it is the question how we will and what we will need to do in the future, having the old technology in the mind. How do you see France as we are the leading educational institution in France? And France is one of the, let's say, countries which has a very strong educational system. How do you see the possibility to really be fast in this kind of adoptions, or are the complex systems like this much more, let's say, harder to move, and then, let's say, to be the risk of missing it, the opportunity to change?
Yeah, I think it's a real risk, because we are in a country which has always been a bit careful about innovations and science. There is one part of the society which is extremely innovative, extremely pushy. We see it here with our students, our researchers. They tend to create amazing things. They think about Mistral AI for AI. But I could give you a long list of companies which are extremely innovative. And we have a part of our society which tends to be quite conservative, always a bit negative about changes, about political decisions. And maybe one of the big challenges we have today, I mean, we have a government that should be formed these days, is to find a way to reconcile the two sides. Yeah.
And I think it's not only the French problem.
Probably, yeah.
It is the problem if you see how far this, because of the acceleration, of the acceleration in the technology and the possibilities that are there, and not keeping up of the normal psychological development of the many of people. It is very hard.
It's very hard, and it's a bit paradoxical for France, if you take the French case, because we are one of the countries, not to say the country, where the social transfers are the highest. Yeah. So we have lots of social transfers between the different segments of the population. and we still talk about increasing the taxes. So that's a moment when the public debate is becoming, I'm not against taxes, and taxes are very important. Taxes are the basis of democracy, so that's the French way about taxes. You wouldn't have it in the US.
Let's not discuss it.
But so taxes, for me, it's good. It's a way to create a social system. And so, but how can you have so many people complaining about social transfers in a country where the social transfers are at the highest in the OECD countries? So we have some awareness issues in our society that cover educational issues, health issues, that we do not address correctly and properly. It's a challenge. And just to make a link with innovation, that's also why, if I go back to to Doctors Without Borders, or even here, when we design the program, or when we work on innovation, I always insist a lot to include technological aspect, but also humanities and social sciences aspect. I think we cannot think about innovation if we do not have in the loop people who are sociologists, experts in management, lawyers. So humanities, psychology, very important. And that's very important to combine the two. If we only had a techno-push approach, I think we would observe the same distortions or negative evolutions you can observe in some countries in the west of Europe, behind the...
But this is it. I want to conclude it with this, because you are showing that the bridges are possible. The bridges are possible in this program, combining this very heterogeneous world of science and the world of people like us, combining in Doctors Without Borders, the overbridging the high-end research and the place we need. So this is possible.
It's possible, clearly, no doubt. In Europe, especially.
We need more Nikolas.
Thank you. Thank you, Marco.
U svetu u kome pokušavamo da kontrolišemo i sebe, i ishode, i mnogo toga što zaista i ne možemo da kontrolišemo, Mel Robbins je napravila veliku revoluciju. Napisala je knjigu koja se jednostavno zove Pusti ih, Let them. Šta je to Let them metod? Knjiga Let them theory postala je globalni fenomen i nudi formulu za unutrašnji mir i fokus na ono što zaista možemo da promenimo, sebe. Šta je Let them teorija? Suština knjige je u dve jednostavne reči. Let them, pusti ih. Kada se neko iznervira, razočara ili ne ispuni očekivanja, jednostavno recite pusti ih. Umesto da trošite energiju na pokušaj da utičete na druge, preusmerite fokus na sebe. Autorka predlaže i drugi korak. Let me. Pusti njih, ali odluči šta ćeš ti da uradiš sledeće. 3 ključne ideje knjige. Kontrola protiv uticaja. Ne možete kontrolisati drugi, ali možete da upravljate svojom reakcijom. 2. Granice bez konflikta. Let them je način da postavite granice bez drame i objašnjavanja. Broj 3. Let me akcija. Nakon što pustite druge, pređite na ono što vi možete da uradite. Birajte mir i akciju. Praktični primjeri iz svakodnevnice. Ne odgovarajte na poruku. Let them. Fokusiraj se na svoj dan. Kolega kritikuje tvoju ideju. Let them. Ti pokaži rezultate. Dete neće da obuče ono što si izabrao. Let them. Važno je da stignete na vreme, ne da sve bude savršeno. Zašto je knjiga važna, iako je objavljena krajem 2024. godine? Postala je svetski bestseller jer donosi jednostavan alat za emocionalnu otpornost u vremenu preopterećenja i digitalne buke. Let them nije samo fraza, to je filozofija koja oslobađa od potrebe da stalno popravljamo druge i otvara prostor da budemo prisutni, svesni i mirni. Ako želite da smanjite stres i povećate produktivnost, zapamtite 2 reči. Let them. Pročitajte Mel Robbins, a naravno, jedna reč koja uvek ostaje najvažnija. Ostanite radoznali.